All right, then, Miss Franklin. What we're gonna do now, man, we're gonna continue on with our assessment. Okay, there's a series of videos that we're gonna watch. All right, and I want you to tell me whether or not in the scenarios was the shoot justifiable or not. Okay, basically, that's what I want you to explain to me. So let's look at the first video here.
I'm gonna kill you. I'll kill you.
All right, Miss Franklin. In that video right there, do you feel that knowing the definition of the use of deadly force and the definition of the use of defensive force, okay, do you feel that situation was she justified in her shoot?
She was justified.
Okay, why was she justified?
Man attacked her with a weapon. He actually attacked her with a baseball bat. And he had already made in his mind that he was going to hit her because he cocked that baseball bat back.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't have anywhere, she didn't have a way to retreat.
Okay.
Because she was up against the bus stop wall.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, she was justified.
She was justified in that. Okay. And according to the definition of the use of deadly force, okay, what made her justified in using the deadly force according to the definition?
Okay, according to the definition, she was an imminent threat of bodily harm or death. The level of fear was elevated
Mm-hmm.
to justify the use of deadly force.
All right. That was excellent, man. That was excellent. All right, so let's go to this next video. We're not even going to worry about that because you basically answered all of those right there within your own words, and that's what I wanted to hear. Okay? So that was excellent. So let's go again. Let's look at this definition right here. You see the definition right here on the use of deadly force. Okay? These are all the things that you have to process before you can use that firearm and before you can draw your weapon and use of it. Okay. Again, being an armed security guard, you have to know the law. You have to know your rights. You have to know the perpetrator rights. Believe it or not. Okay. Perpetrator has rights as well. Okay. So you have to know their rights as well. Okay. So like I said, you have a matter of a millisecond to process all of these things and make an accurate, timely decision. Okay, so just know those things. Keep those things in mind. What is the use of deadly force, and also what is the use of excessive force? Okay, you with me? All right. So let's go to the next one now. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. All right. Again, judgment considerations. We talked about this. I basically said I summarized it, but you summarized it very well as well. Okay, kudos. You did an excellent job, man. Again, you hit all the key points. Just remember the judgment considerations, okay? These are some of the things that you need to consider before you draw that firearm as a security guard and employ it, okay? First thing you need to know is, does the perpetrator have access and the ability to kill or injure me or someone else? All right, in defense of someone else, be it your property manager, your client's own property, or whatever the case may be, okay? Wherever your post at, do the perpetrator have the accessibility, all right, and the availability to do bodily harm, to kill you or injure you or someone else, okay? And then the second part is that, are we there yet? Just like you stated, has the situation escalated to a level that deadly force is justifiable? Okay, that's the second thing. Two things to consider, to your judgment to consider. And again, you answered it perfectly. All right, so that was excellent.
Thank you.
All right, so let's look at this one.
Hey, give me your purse.
Stop! I've got a gun! Hello, 911?
All right, let's talk about that scenario. Okay, now, in this case right here, was the use of deadly force or not the use of deadly force the right decision to make?
The use not to use deadly force was the right decision to make because as soon as she drew her weapon out of her purse, the perpetrator dropped his weapon and ran off. Then she did the right thing by bagging back, making sure the perpetrator was still moving away from her, and called 911.
Okay, so the use not to use deadly force, the decision not to use deadly force, in your opinion, was the right one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I wholeheartedly concur. Okay, to that. All right, you're right. Once a threat has been diminished, okay, once there is no longer a threat, okay, no longer was her life in danger, or imminent danger of death or seriously bodily injury, okay, the suspect fled away, all right, the threat was neutralized by him running away, all right, so she didn't have any justifications to shoot, all right, and you never shoot a fleeing suspect anyway, all right, so yes, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. That's very good, man. That is very good. All right, so that's everything we just covered right there. Don't worry about that. We're going to move on to the next video, next scenario. Okay, before we do that, these are some civil things that you need to remember about the use of deadly force, okay? Of defensive force, including deadly force. It does not, all right, it does not abolish or impair the remedy for the conduct that is to be, or that is or may be available in a lawsuit, all right? Just know that using a deadly force, you're on the job, all right, a lawsuit is going to come behind it, all right? The important things is to make sure that you're justified in the court of law, all right? That you are correct in pulling that firearm and employing that firearm in the court of law, okay? And that's what you got to understand. Although sometimes it's not a criminal defense, it may be a civil defense, okay? That somebody may come at you as civilly, all right? So just just understood that when you use it in the accordance of the law, and that it's justifiable in court, all right?
Sure.
All right, that makes sense to you?
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, man. Don't worry about that right there. Don't worry about that right there. Let's talk about this.
Did you hear something?
Yeah.
Call 911. Stop!
All right. What's the use of deadly force there? Justifiable.
That's kind of hard to say, Sir Sergeant, because from the video, we didn't see the perpetrator's hands. So I didn't know if he reached for a weapon in his pocket or anything like that. The only thing we know is that when the homeowner circled that corner, he had his weapon drawn, which was the right thing to do, and the perpetrator then ran towards him. Now, his threat level might have been high at that time, but I don't know if the guy had any weapons on him. So, I'm gonna go with no. I don't think deadly force was necessary at that point.
Okay, all right. All right, so some things I want you to consider, all right? The use of deadly force did not say or state that the individual had to have a weapon or did not have a weapon, okay? It only states that you believed, all right, that your life was in immediate danger of death or seriously bodily injury. Okay? Although that person did not have or we did not see a weapon in his hands, all right, could that person still do serious bodily harm with his hands?
Yes, he can do certain,
Okay?
very serious harm.
Did that person, was he running towards him or running away from him?
He running towards him.
All right? So the aggression matter, all right, and him charging at him in aggressive demeanor, okay, could raise your perception to believe that your life was in danger. Okay? Again, you don't have to have what we would call a traditional weapon. Okay? Because your hands is a weapon. Someone can choke you to the near unconscious is a weapon. All right? Someone can beat you unconscious. That's a weapon. You understand what I'm saying? So just understand that the law, all right, and the definition of the use of deadly force is that you believe, all right, that your life was in threat of immediate death or seriously bodily harm. Okay? So with everything that was showed, it was escalated. All right? You charging at me, charging at my wife, whatever the case may be, all right? Those are the decisions that you got to process. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That makes sense?
That makes
All right.
sense.
You look at somebody like you, all right? Somebody like you, and you look at a female that stands about 5'2", weigh about 125 pounds. If you come charging at them, even though if you don't have a traditional weapon in your hand, if she shoots you, she's going to be justified because of your size, all right, your strength, all right, other elements come into play, okay, that raise her fear level. Do that make sense to you?
That makes sense. Something else about that too.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to really pull his hands up. He could have ran over the guy. The guy was standing behind a wall, was standing next to a wall. And he would have fell, hit his head. Same thing happened.
Right. You know, so just understand what the law states about using deadly force. All right. That's what these scenarios are geared towards. Okay. Understanding the law, when and when not to shoot. And then we're going to do some practical exercises as well. Okay. So let's look at this one.
I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!
Okay. Do you feel that the decision not to use deadly force in that situation was the correct decision?
That was a correct decision.
Why do you say that?
Because she had the means and opportunity to retreat. It would have been different if he walked up and actually was pointing his weapon at her, but he wasn't. He was waving it around. So that gave her the opportunity to get in her car, crank it up, back out, drive away. Now, could she possibly have used deadly force? She could have, because he had the means and the intent to do bodily harm to her. But I think that probably was a good decision for her.
Okay.
driving away.
Okay. So her driving away, you know, and please understand this. Okay. Being in your career, all right, armed security guard, okay. You also knowing the law, okay, but you also using wise decision making process, okay. The individual, the perpetrator, had a gun, All right. A firearm has the ability to do seriously bodily harm and cause death from a very far away, long bird. All right. That person, the victim, all right, got back in her car, putting herself in a very vulnerable and defenseless position. Okay? Because
He could have stepped back there and started shooting through the back window.
he could have shot straight forward. She had to put it in reverse, turn around, not looking at him, but turn around, backing up. Then she had to stop, and then she had to put it in drive. All these opportunities, she was in a defenseless state. You understand what I'm saying? She was in a defenseless state. So, what I'm trying to encourage you and what I'm trying to get you to see in the decision-making process, if that was to happen to you while you was on duty, okay, do you know what is a tactical advantage position and what is a defenseless state position? Because that could have turned very ugly for her because she was not prepared for the escalation. Do that make sense to you?
That makes sense.
Okay. In a situation like that, you still process the situation, but you would also be prepared for it to escalate. All right. You will use your training to make a barrier between you and the assailant, using your car, getting behind cover. All right. Process that situation fully before you make a rash decision. All right. But never put yourself in a defenseless situation. Do that make sense to you?
Makes sense.
You want to see it one more time?
Yeah, go ahead. See.
Let's see it one more time so you understand. Look at everything that I just pointed out to you now. So now let's see.
I'm gonna kill you!
He's still coming towards her with the
I'm
gun.
gonna kill you!
Right there, she's defenseless. She's defenseless. He's right up on her. She's defenseless there. She's defenseless there. She's defenseless there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Am I making sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay? The threat was still very much imminent because he was still coming towards her. He still had a firearm in his hand. He still could have used it at any time. So the threat was still imminent. Okay? So understand that processing these decisions, you got to stay in a tactical advantage position. Be ready for it to take another turn. All right? That can be the difference between life or death. That makes sense?
Makes sense.
All right. That was good, though.